For the remainder of your life, the speech written in a style inspired by Napoleon Hill's tone. Direct, motivational, and principle-driven, but without mentioning him, your thoughts are the architects of your reality, shaping every choice you make and every action you take. For the remainder of your life, if your mind is left undisciplined, it will naturally drift toward fear, self-doubt, and negativity. For the remainder of your life, this happens because the human mind to fixate on what could go wrong rather than on what could go right. But when you take control of your thoughts and intentionally direct them toward solutions and possibilities, you begin to build a stronger foundation for your life. It is this conscious redirection that turns worry into strategy and setbacks into opportunities for growth. Training your mind is not an overnight process. It requires patience. For the remainder of life, daily effort and an unwavering commitment to improvement. Each time you notice yourself sinking into negative thinking, you must interrupt that pattern and replace it with a constructive alternative. This discipline creates new mental pathways that become stronger with consistent use. For the remainder of life, eventually making optimism and resilience your default response to challenges. Focusing on solutions rather than problems shifts your entire energy. When you dwell on problems, you remain powerless, but when you seek solutions, you reclaim your sense of control. This doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It means recognizing the problem and immediately asking, what can I do about this? That single question turns despair into determination, fueling mental strength and clarity. Over time, this practice changes not only how you think, but also how you act. With a disciplined mind, your decisions become sharper, your habits more intentional, and your results more consistent. People around you will notice the difference, but the greatest transformation will happen internally. A deep, unshakable belief in your own ability to handle whatever comes your way. The more you practice controlling your thoughts, the less control outside circumstances will have over you. Your life will always bring difficulties, but a trained mind treats them as temporary obstacles, not permanent defeats. This is the foundation of becoming mentally stronger for the remainder of your life, mastering your inner world so completely that nothing external can break your spirit. Every moment you spend comparing yourself to others steals energy that could be used to improve your own life. Comparison plants seeds of envy and doubt, making you believe that your journey is somehow less valuable. But the truth is, everyone's path is different, and what you see in others is only a fraction of their reality. For the remainder of your life, focusing on their achievements blinds you to your own progress and slows the growth you are capable of achieving. When you redirect that energy inward, you begin to see how much potential lies within you. Instead of measuring your life against someone else's timeline, you set your own standards and work to exceed them. For the remainder of your life, this shift not only frees you from unnecessary pressure, but also creates space for genuine self-improvement. For the remainder of your life, it allows you to see where your strengths lie and where you can grow without the noise of external judgment. Building skills, strengthening habits, and shaping your mindset are the true measures of progress. Every hour spent practicing a craft, every moment dedicated to discipline, and every small victory in personal development moves you closer to the life you desire. This kind of growth happens quietly, often unnoticed by others for the remainder of life, but it transforms you from the inside out. Comparison tricks you into thinking success is scarce, but when you focus on your own journey, you realize there is enough room for everyone to rise. Celebrating your own milestones, no matter how small, fuels motivation and helps you stay consistent. The competition is not with others, but with the weaker version of yourself from yesterday. By letting go of the urge to compare, you reclaim your energy and peace of mind. You begin to trust the pace of your journey and honor the lessons life is teaching you. Over time, this focus on your own path builds confidence and resilience for the remainder of life, making you mentally stronger and capable of handling whatever challenges arise. Strength is not born from an easy life. It is forged in the moments when you stand face to face with hardship and choose to endure. Avoiding struggle may bring temporary comfort for the remainder of your life, but it robs you of the very experiences that build resilience. Every challenge you face carries an opportunity to grow stronger, to sharpen your character for the remainder of life, and to prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you once believed. It is in adversity, not ease, that your inner strength is revealed. Building this kind of strength requires a deliberate decision to confront difficulties rather than run from them. When criticism comes, when failure strikes, when setbacks seem to pile up, you must stand firm and refuse to let them define you. Instead of asking why life is hard, ask how you can grow from it. Each trial becomes a stepping stone, each obstacle a lesson that prepares you for greater victories ahead. A mindset unshaken by failure is cultivated through persistence. Your life, you will stumble, you will doubt yourself, and you may even consider quitting. But if you continue moving forward, even in the smallest steps of your life, you will discover a deep reserve of strength you never knew existed. That strength does not just help you survive challenges, it helps you rise above them. Criticism from others can be harsh, but often it reflects their own fears and limitations rather than your true potential. When you anchor your confidence in your own vision and values, no outside opinion can derail you. Learning to separate constructive feedback from destructive negativity allows you to stay focused on your growth rather than wasting energy defending yourself. Over time, for your life, facing struggles head-on transforms your entire outlook on life. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable, and what once seemed impossible becomes achievable. For the remainder of your life, you realize that no setback has the power to break you unless you allow it to. This inner fortress, built through repeated trials, for the remainder of your life, becomes your greatest weapon in navigating life with courage and determination. Emotions are a natural part of being human, and they serve as signals to help you understand yourself and the world around you. Anger tells you that something feels unfair. For the remainder of your life, the jealousy hints at desires you have yet fulfilled, and anxiety warns you of potential danger. But while these emotions are important, for the remainder of your life, allowing them to control your actions can lead to decisions you later regret. For the remainder of your life, mental strength comes from acknowledging what you feel without letting those feelings dictate the direction of your life. When anger takes over, for the remainder of your life, you risk saying or doing things that harm relationships and push you off course. A strong mind learns to pause, breathe, and process before responding. This doesn't mean suppressing anger. It means using it as fuel for positive change rather than destruction. The same is true for jealousy. Instead of resenting what others have, turn that emotion inward and ask yourself what steps you can take to create your own version of success. Anxiety can be paralyzing, but it can also serve as a guide when understood correctly. Rather than letting it convince you to retreat, use it as a sign to prepare more, plan better, enter life, and move forward with greater intention. Over time, facing your fears head-on teaches you that most of the things you worry about are far less threatening than they first appear. Mastering emotions does not mean becoming cold or detached. It means feeling deeply while remaining in control of your choices. For the remainder of your life, it is the balance between heart and mind, understanding what you feel but refusing to let it sabotage your growth. This level of control allows you to stay calm in chaos and make decisions rooted in clarity rather than impulse. As you continue to strengthen this skill, life's challenges no longer have the power to shake you so easily. You learn to respond instead of react, to think instead of panic, and to move forward instead of getting stuck. For the remainder of your life, this mastery over your emotions becomes one of the strongest pillars of mental toughness, enabling you to face anything with composure and courage. For the remainder of your life, the quality of life will always reflect the standards you set for yourself. If you accept mediocrity, you will live a mediocre life. If you demand more from yourself, more discipline, more consistency, more excellence, your life will rise to meet those expectations. Standards are like invisible boundaries. They quietly dictate what you allow and what you reject. The moment you raise them, everything around you begins to shift because you no longer tolerate what holds you back. This shift begins with brutal honesty. You must look at the habits, relationships, and environments you allow and ask yourself, are these helping me grow or keeping me stagnant? The answer will guide you in deciding what to cut out and what to strengthen. If you continue to allow laziness, procrastination, and excuses into your daily routine, they will silently erode your potential. But if you set a higher standard, demanding consistency, accountability, and focus, you begin to transform your future one small decision at a time. People will often challenge your new standards, especially those who are comfortable staying the same. They may mock your discipline or pressure you to lower your expectations to fit theirs. This is where mental strength is tested. Standing firm in your decisions for the remainder of your life, even when others don't understand, is how you break free from the cycle of mediocrity. It is not about being better than anyone else. It is about being better than the version of yourself that once settled for less. Raising your standards also changes the way you see opportunities. When you expect more of yourself, you naturally take actions that align with that vision. You stop waiting for luck to save you and start creating your own results through consistent effort. Over time, your higher standards attract better relationships and better outcomes because you no longer settle for anything that doesn't align with your goals. In the end, for the remainder of your life, life will always meet you at the level of your expectations. The moment you refuse to tolerate negativity, excuses, and low effort, for the remainder of life, you force yourself to grow into someone capable of achieving more. Mental strength is not about being unbreakable for the remainder of your life. It is about refusing to settle for less than what you are truly capable of becoming for the remainder of your life. Discipline is not in grand moments of success, but in the quiet decisions you make every single day. It is choosing to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Small actions, repeated over time, are what shape your character and determine the direction of your life. While talent may give you a head start, only discipline keeps you moving forward when motivation fades and obstacles appear. Your daily routines are the foundation of everything you become. If you guard them carefully of your life, they will lead you toward the person you want to be. A strong routine eliminates the need to constantly negotiate with yourself because the decisions are already made. For the remainder of your life, you don't ask whether you feel like working out, you just do it. You don't wonder if you should read, practice, or work toward your goals. It becomes automatic. Over time, for the remainder of life, these habits compound into results that seem extraordinary to others but feel natural to you. For the remainder of life, the world celebrates visible achievements but rarely acknowledges the unseen discipline behind them. People applaud the victory but overlook the endless hours of preparation that made it possible. True mental strength is forged in those unseen moments. The quiet mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices no one else notices. These moments test your resolve and build the resilience needed to withstand greater challenges in the future. For the remainder of your life, when you commit to disciplined habits, you also gain control over your emotions and impulses. Life will present countless distractions, but your remainder routines act as anchors that keep you grounded. Each small promise kept to yourself builds trust in your own abilities, and this self-trust becomes an unshakable source of confidence. Over time, discipline transforms not just your habits, but your entire identity. You begin to see yourself as someone reliable, capable, and worthy of the goals you pursue. While others rely on bursts of motivation, you move forward steadily for the remainder of your life, powered by a foundation you built brick by brick. This is the quiet strength that outlasts excitement and turns potential into reality. The most people will never fully understand the vision you carry because it was never meant for them to see. Your dreams are unique to you, born from your experiences, your desires, and the life you imagine for yourself. When you rely on others to validate that vision, you hand them power over your future. Their opinions, whether supportive or critical, can easily sway your confidence if you do not anchor it within yourself. The truth is, no one else is required to understand, only you need to believe. Seeking approval often leads to hesitation and self-doubt. You begin adjusting your plans to fit the expectations of others, even if it means betraying what you truly want. Over time, this can quietly erode your passion, leaving you with regrets about paths you didn't take. Mental strength requires that you stop waiting for permission to pursue your goals. The only validation you need is the certainty that your vision matters and is worth the effort it will demand. Criticism will come, and so will misunderstanding. People may question your choices, mock your ambition, or try to convince you to take a safer route. This is not a reflection of your potential, but of their own limitations. A strong mind learns to separate useful feedback from unfounded negativity and continues moving forward regardless of who believes in the vision. When you stop seeking approval, you gain freedom. You no longer waste energy trying to prove yourself to others. Instead, you focus entirely on becoming the person capable of achieving your goals. For the remainder of your life, this inner shift allows you to operate with quiet confidence, trusting your decisions even when the path feels uncertain. Over time, The results of your persistence will speak louder than any words of validation ever could. By trusting your own vision, you take ownership of your journey. For the remainder of your life, you accept that it is your responsibility to build the life you want, not to convince others to approve of it. For the remainder of your life, this self-reliance is where mental strength flourishes. When you no longer need applause to keep going, you are finally unstoppable. Remainder of your life, pain is often misunderstood as something purely negative, something to be avoided at all costs. Yet the truth is that pain carries within it some of life's most powerful lessons. For the remainder of your life, every challenge you face, every setback that shakes you, contains an opportunity to grow stronger and wiser. The suffering you endure today can become the very foundation that supports you tomorrow if you choose to learn from it rather than resent it. When difficulties strike, the first reaction is often to ask, why me? But a stronger question to ask is, what is this teaching me? Hidden inside every hardship is guidance about your weaknesses, your resilience, and your potential to rise. Struggle reveals what truly matters and forces you to confront aspects of yourself that comfort never exposes. In these moments, pain transforms from an enemy into a teacher. Using pain as fuel requires a shift in mindset. Instead of allowing challenges to break you, you decide they will build you. You take the lessons from heartbreak, failure, or disappointment and turn them into motivation to improve yourself. This doesn't erase the difficulty for the remainder of your life, but it gives meaning to it. And meaning is what turns suffering into strength. Over time, you begin to look at struggles differently. For the remainder of your life, you stop fearing them because you know every challenge you overcome adds another layer of resilience to your character. You realize that pain isn't a permanent state, but a temporary stage in your growth. This realization helps you endure hardship with patience and determination for the remainder of your life, knowing it will pass and leave you stronger. Eventually, the very experiences that once hurt you become your greatest source of power, for they remind you that you have already survived worse and are capable of surviving more. This quiet strength builds unshakable confidence, not because life is easy for the remainder of your life, but because you have proven to yourself that no difficulty can defeat you. For the remainder of your life, spending time alone often feels uncomfortable at first because silence forces you to face yourself without distractions. Yet it is in those quiet moments that the greatest clarity begins to form. When you are away from the noise of opinions, obligations, and constant stimulation, for the remainder of your life, you finally have the space to listen to your own thoughts and understand what you truly want from life. Solitude is not isolation. It is life, an intentional retreat to realign with your purpose. In stillness, you notice patterns you missed when life was moving too fast. For the remainder of your life, you begin to see where your energy is being wasted and where it needs to be redirected. For remainder life, times of reflecting helps you recognize the habits that strengthen you and the ones that weaken you. Without silence, these truths are buried under endless distractions, leaving you unsure why you feel stuck or unfulfilled. Solitude clears away that confusion, reveals a clearer path forward. This quiet space is also where new ideas are born. When your mind is calm, creativity flows naturally. Solutions to problems often arise in moments of stillness, not while forcing answers in chaos. For the remainder of your life, many breakthroughs happen when people step away from the noise. During a walk, a moment of prayer, or quiet journaling of your life, solitude opens the door to deeper understanding and innovation. Choosing to spend time alone also strengthens your sense of independence. For there is no longer fear of being by yourself because you have learned to enjoy your own company. This self-reliance builds inner confidence. For the remainder of life, you stop depending on others to validate your thoughts and start trusting your own judgment. Solitude teaches you that peace and clarity are things you can create for yourself at any moment. As you embrace this practice, you realize that quiet moments are not wasted. They are essential. They allow you to recharge, plan with intention, and reconnect to what truly matters. In a world filled with endless noise and distraction, for the remainder of your life, solitude becomes your secret weapon for mental strength and purposeful living. Your energy is one of the most valuable resources you have, yet many people give it away carelessly without realizing the cost. Every conversation, every environment, and every relationship either fuels you or depletes you. If you spend too much time around negativity, criticism, or constant chaos, your focus and motivation begin to fade. For remainder, protecting your energy means being intentional about where you place your attention and who you allow into your inner circle. For the remainder of your life, the people you surround yourself with influence your mindset more than you may realize. When you are around those who complain, make excuses, or stay stuck in self-pity, for their energy will eventually affect you. On the other hand, when you spend time with those who challenge you, encourage you, and believe in growth, you naturally rise to meet that level. Protecting your energy is not about cutting everyone off. It is about recognizing which connections help you grow and which ones hold you back. Your environment plays just as big a role. A cluttered, newsy, or toxic space can drain your mental clarity, while a calm and organized one can restore it. The remainder of your life, even the digital environments you engage with, social media, news, or entertainment, shape your emotional state. But choosing carefully what you allow into your mind is just as important as choosing who you allow into your life. Learning to say no is a powerful part of this process. When you stop overcommitting to things that don't align with your priorities, you free up energy for what truly matters. Many people confuse business with productivity for the remainder of your life, but filling your schedule with meaningless obligations only leaves you exhausted and unfocused. Protecting your energy sometimes means disappointing others so you can stay true to yourself. Over time, this practice creates a sense of balance and control in your life. You feel lighter, clearer, and more focused because your energy is no longer wasted on things that do not serve you. With this renewed strength for your life, you are able to put more of yourself into the goals and relationships that matter most, creating a life that feels aligned and purposeful. A strong mind grows through constant learning, not just by collecting facts, but by seeking understanding. Reading, studying for the remainder of your life, and observing the world expand your perspective and reveal patterns you may not have noticed before. For the remainder of your life, this habit of learning sharpens your ability to think clearly and respond wisely rather than react impulsively. The goal is not simply to know more than others, but to develop the wisdom to apply what you know in meaningful ways. Curiosity is the engine behind growth. The remainder of life, when you remain open to learning, you discover lessons in every experience, success, and failure. Books, conversations for the remainder of life, and even quiet observation of daily life become sources of insight. For the remainder of life, instead premungent stagnation because you begin to see the world as an endless classroom where every challenge holds something valuable to teach you. Learning relentlessly also builds confidence. As you gain knowledge and sharpen your skills, you feel better prepared to handle new opportunities and unexpected problems. For the remainder of your life, what once felt intimidating becomes manageable because you have developed the tools to navigate it. This quiet assurance allows you to step into challenges with calm determination rather than fear. True learning requires humility, an understanding that no matter how much you know, there is always more to discover. Arrogance closes the door to growth, but humility keeps it wide open. When you approach life as a student, for the remainder of life, you gain not only information, but also wisdom, which is far more valuable than knowledge alone. Over time, this constant pursuit of growth transforms how you view yourself and your future. You no longer feel limited by what you currently know or can do. Instead, you trust in your ability to adapt and evolve. This ongoing commitment to learning creates a mind that is not only stronger, but also resilient for the remainder of life, capable of thriving no matter how much the world changes around you. Before any great transformation occurs in your life, it must first take shape in your mind. The image you hold of yourself determines how you think, act, and respond to challenges. When you visualize the highest version of yourself, confident, disciplined, and unstoppable, you begin to create a mental blueprint for the life you want to live. Your life, this vision, becomes a quiet but constant reminder of what you are capable of becoming, even when your current reality doesn't yet reflect it. At first, this higher version elf may feel distant or unrealistic. You may doubt whether you can ever become that person, especially if you have been stuck in the same habits for years. But the mind is powerful. What you repeatedly picture and affirm begins to influence your behavior. Over time, your actions naturally start aligning with the image you have created. What once seemed far away slowly becomes your new normal. Visualization works because it gives you direction. Without a clear picture of who you want to be, it is easy to get lost in distractions and settle for less than you deserve. When you see your ideal self in your mind, for the real life, you have a target to aim for. A reminder to choose discipline over excuses, focus over procrastination, and courage over fear. Every decision becomes an opportunity to either step closer to or further away from that vision. This practice also fuels resilience. When challenges arise for the remainder of life, instead of being consumed by setbacks, you recall the person you are becoming and refuse to give up. The higher self you envision serves as proof that the struggle is temporary and the outcome is worth it. You begin to treat obstacles not as roadblocks, but as tests, each one shaping you into the version of yourself you are striving to embody. As you hold this image daily and take consistent action toward it, for the remainder of your life, the gap between you are and who you want to be begins to close. Eventually, others will see what you've been envisioning all along. For the remainder of a person transformed not by chance, but by intentional focus and unwavering belief. For the remainder of your life, comfort is seductive because it promises ease, but it rarely leads to growth. The more you choose what feels safe and familiar, the more you remain exactly where you are. Mental strength is built in the moments when you willingly step into discomfort, when you wake earlier than you want to, when you keep going after your body wants to quit. For the remainder of life, when you push forward even though fear whispers for you to stop. Every act of choosing growth over comfort hardens your resolve and shapes the person you are becoming. Discomfort reveals truths about your limits that comfort can never show. It exposes how much further you can go, how much stronger you can be, and how much potential lies untapped within you. The mind will always try to convince you to stop at the first sign of struggle. But if you resist that instinct and keep moving, you discover that what you thought was your break is only the beginning of your true strength. Growth requires sacrifice. You may have to give up late nights to rise earlier, skip distractions to focus on what matters, and endure long stretches of effort before results appear. These sacrifices are uncomfortable in the moment for the remainder of life, but they create a sense of pride and resilience that comfort will never provide. For the remainder of life, each difficult choice you make builds a foundation for the life you want, a life that comfort alone cannot deliver. The more you expose yourself to challenge, the less intimidating it becomes. What once felt impossible begins to feel normal, and what once scared you becomes routine. This is the transformation that discomfort creates. It stretches your capacity until tasks that used to drain you now strengthen you. Over time, seeking growth becomes second nature, and the comfort you once craved loses its hold on you. By choosing growth over comfort, you step into a life of continual evolution. You stop waiting for perfect conditions and start creating progress in imperfect ones. Each step outside your comfort zone shapes not only what you achieve, but also who you become. Someone resilient, capable, and unafraid to pursue greatness, no matter the cost.